Okay, yeah, I think we have the recording in progress right now, so that means we're supposed to start this meeting. So let me turn to the agenda. And okay, we're there. So we would like to call this meeting to order. And I'll just make a note that all members are present. Hi, Zeidel. I didn't get to say hi to you. And of course, Jody and Sam and Vin. And you know what? This is a good looking group up here. So present company accepted. So, but we are going to have a young lady named Jade who's going to step forward. She is from Boy Scout Troop 360. I saw a lot of numbers there, 360. And she is going to lead us in the pledge to the flag. So if she could just come up to the microphone there, and everyone please stand.
Can everyone put your right hand over your heart?
Hold on one second, Kate. There's one there? No. Okay, very close to me out. You okay then? I forgot to grab it.
Can everyone please put your right hand over your heart? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jade. I appreciate that. Okay, our first item of business will be the adoption of the agenda.
So move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt the agenda as written. Is there any discussion? Any objections? If not, so ordered. We're at item 4, which is a special item. These are going to be updates from, first of all, our Parks and Rec Department, and secondly, our Community Development Department. So we will ask Mr. Manuel Enriquez to come and entertain us with all the great stuff you're going to be doing.
Can I interrupt for a minute?
Yes.
These
You
lights
may.
are so bright.
They
Yes,
are bright.
We will,
Okay. Thank
we will
you.
lower them
Sorry.
in just a second
So
here.
sorry.
It's okay. We tried to make sure that we had the ends well lit of the dais. And I think we've raised maybe too much
Yeah,
here.
they're pretty
I
bright.
think those were the sun tanning lights we put in by mistake. Madam Mayor, we have our 2 department updates coming to the council first this evening. And given that we have a public hearing that has to start pretty close to 7:15 under the law, I would ask if the council has any questions of either Mr. Enriquez or after him, Mr. Hensley. We please save those until a little bit later in the meeting. So please do remember it. Thank you.
Okay, good, thank you. We'll
Those
keep
lights
that in
better?
mind. I'm sorry? Yeah.
Lights better? Okay. I'll be brief. We are starting our spring season of registration for recreation classes. That will begin next Monday. To view all of our updated and new classes for this current season, folks are encouraged to visit accessduarte.com, click on the icon for register for a recreation program at the bottom of our webpage. Just a reminder, we'll be having our first community meeting with regards to the potential project of a dog park here within the city boundaries. That will be on March 19th at 10 a.m. here in this very building. Thirdly, we are hosting our Duarte 66ers opening day. That's going to take place over at the Otis Gordon Sports Park. And that will be on March 17th. We'll have some opening day festivities with our Mayor Pro Tem throwing out the first pitch right around 9:15, and game time is set for 9:45. There's still time to sign up for our Cesar Chavez A Day of Service that will be taking place at Westminster Gardens. That again will be taking place at Westminster Gardens, and we are asking folks to pre-register online as we have to secure proof of vaccination, or we will also accept from the Westminster Gardens admin, we will accept a test within 48 hours, a negative COVID test. So more details on that online. And then lastly, we are hosting our department Egg Fest over at Encanto Park this year on April 16th, so the day before Easter. We'll have an egg hunt for all the kids. We'll have some vendor booths, some cool interactive games, so we invite the community to come out and join us at 10 a.m. That's it for me this evening.
Thank you. And you aren't allowed to ask any questions now. All right, thanks, Manuel. Okay, Mr. Hensley.
All right, thank you. I got an update for this community development update. The street rehab project is beginning in the next couple weeks. So you'll see work going on in the area of Mel Canyon, Deer Lane, Opal Canyon, and Brick Ridge. That's up by Valley View School. The work by the school is going to be done during spring break, which is the last week of this month. That's an area that got a lot of mud flow damage, so it's really good that we're able to get to that and get some improvements there. But that'll start very soon. The citywide sidewalk repair project is about 90% complete, and what is left and will be happening in the next couple weeks will be the repair on the Royal Oaks crosswalks, and that's the area between Bradbury and Duarte along the north side of Royal Oaks, where they have the Royal Oaks North, where it kind of loops around. And there'll also be some work at the crosswalk at Mount Olive. Newick Village at the City of Hope, that's the hotel, 147 rooms. It got its final from the city, so it got a certificate of occupancy. City of Hope is ramping that up, and it will be opening in the next few weeks. But it's been a long haul for that building, and I don't know if you've driven by it lately. It looks fantastic. All times of the day, it looks extra nice at night. And you'll also notice the city street project down there that we just recently completed. There's a couple of lights that still need to go in, but it is energized. And that's what we have. Thank you.
Okay, you have 3 minutes if you have any questions you want to ask of either of these gentlemen with their reports tonight. Yeah, go ahead, Sam.
Really quick, Craig, I noticed that when I'm going towards east, I see the street lights on Duarte Road, they're lit up, but then the ones on the north side that's right next to the goal line, they're not lit.
We'll take a look at those. I mean, they should be lit. The lights on the north side, they were put in a few years ago. So we'll check to make sure that's operating correctly.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, any other questions, comments? As usual, a lot going on, so we appreciate the hard work that our staff is doing. Okay, so now what we've all been waiting for is our public hearing. Nope, we still have 2 more minutes.
20 seconds.
That clock is a bit slow, Madam Mayor.
I actually have 7:14, we have 1
Yes.
minute. Okay, so I will just start introducing it right now. Okay, one of my favorite people in the whole world is sitting down there. He thinks I didn't like him initially, but I really do. Jeff, we all love you.
Well,
Jeff Simonetti.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so he's just the messenger. Okay, so Jeff, we are going to go ahead and at this time open the public hearing. And this is to receive input, discuss the draft redistricting maps and identify focus maps for inclusion in the ordinance to adopt new district boundaries for the Duarte City Council and scheduling of the next and final, I think, public hearing. So this is something that we've been working on for, what, about 9 months now? I think it's about 9 months. And as you know, we were districted, but no one really wanted it, how many odd years ago. and about 4 years ago. Isn't that right? For those that were here about 4 years ago. So it seems kind of a shame that we had to go ahead and do it again, but you know what? That's what government does so well, is spend money on things that they shouldn't have to do. So anyway, let's go ahead and open the public hearing. Annette, do we need to, are there any notes or letters we've received?
We did not receive any public comments, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Then we're going to open the public hearing right now, and anyone that would like to speak on this item, please go ahead and step forward to the microphone, and you will have 3 minutes to go ahead and let us know what you want to talk about.
I just had a quick question. Are all the maps over there, all the way to 108?
Yes, they are.
Okay, can I?
Okay? Mr. Pars, good evening.
Good evening, everybody, and all the people in attendance. First up, I share my concern with what's happening in Europe. With regards to this public hearing, appreciate all the services of the people that are up in the dais. I know it's a tough job, challenging, frustrating, whatever, but you still have the feeling of satisfaction of serving the people. I've looked into the map for districting, and let me say first, Lino Paras, District 9. Okay. I like the map that's simple, that is easily understandable by the people, and they have some sort of connection. And by looking at the map, it looks to me that the one that makes sense for the community and the people is map number 103. It's very simple, straightforward. Now, there is also such thing as gerrymandering, as we all know. And gerrymandering is map number 108, which is so crazy in terms of configuration. So, again, I'm just expressing my thoughts about this one because I know that that we're just in our probably 5th year of district, and I don't even know whether a lot of people know what district they live. So, to me, 103 is getting familiar of what has been more or less contiguous and I would say very simple. Okay, so I'll leave it to you guys. You are the decision maker. I know that it would be challenging in terms of election, but that's always what happens in an election. Okay, and there are pros and cons. People and candidates, if they're challenger and so on, would discuss the issues of the city. So, me, as a resident, I would pick 103. Me, as a politician, I'll pick 108. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on this public hearing? Oh, good, Steve.
Steve Hernandez. With all due respect, I don't agree with what he had to say. It's not a politician's map, but 108 is the one that I saw that basically lives up to everything that we agreed to 10 years ago when we first did this. And that is that what we've done here is we gave every district a business district. And the only map that shows every district having a business is 108. And, I kind of don't understand why 6 was expanded so much. It really didn't make sense to me, but at the same time, I do feel that all districts should keep that in mind, and that is that we should all have a business district. That's just fair. Other than, I will not make comments as to how these came about or why. I mean, I agree with all of them because I'm sure all of you had reasons for them, but I'm just saying 7 is the only one that really seems to acknowledge, or 8, I'm sorry, 108 is the only one that gives any reference to equality with that in mind. And actually, if you look at District 7 with 108, it's the smallest district before that because it was just that little tiny piece down below while everything else wrapped around it. So that was my only concern. And obviously, being involved in the first set, I don't think that these were any easier. So I compliment you guys for your working together and doing this. And I do want to say one more thing regarding that, and that is that this is by far the best representation of the city we have today up there on that dais. It's basically across the board the best. And what I like most is that you all work together. And that's really going to get things done. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Steve. And you're right. This is a dream city council. Trust me on that one. Okay. Other questions or comments? Okay. Then I will take this time to close the public hearing and take a look at my colleagues and see what questions or comments they have. Zeidel.
What's the difference between 101 and 103? Because it seems very minimal.
Okay.
Oh, I see that. Oh,
Can we put a copy? None of us, except maybe you, Zach,
I
has
asked
it.
for, yeah, well, I asked for it.
We don't have a copy.
Would you like some hard copies?
Yes,
Sam?
please.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Does this microphone work? Can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Good. Okay. So the other thing that we can do too is we have the interactive review map. So I can pull that up so you can see the differences. Give me one moment here. Okay. So if you'll see. So the main differences between 101 and 103 is with the configuration between District 1 and District 5. So in 101, this is map 101 here that you're seeing.
I'm sorry, I am having a hard time
Yeah.
hearing you.
Yeah, Mike is,
Why don't we do this? Is this better?
yes.
Perfect. All right. That microphone, for some reason, doesn't seem to be working. Okay, so the big difference between 101 and 103 is the configuration between districts 1 and 5. Okay, so you'll see here, and let me zoom in. So for 101 to make District 1 contiguous, we have this area again that kind of runs down just south of where Mount Olive Drive is, and then connects back over to an area to the western part of, to the west of where District 5 is. So, and then if you'll see here with 103, this
Here.
basically makes the District 1 area
Right here.
all to in
That section.
the northern section there, in north of, what is that road there? So basically north of Royal Oaks Drive and captures that area that in 101 is in District 1. That all puts that area into District 1, and then District 5 again captures all of that area sort of along Royal Oaks Drive out to, that is Oak Avenue.
Is that
Yeah, but that's the main difference between 101 and 103.
okay?
Okay. Zeidel, other questions?
I might in a second.
Okay.
If someone else wants to ask.
Tony?
You were saying, Jeff, 101 and 103, the main difference was just, you didn't include the difference between District 7. It cuts off District 7 as well from its business district.
In terms of
both of those maps. And I can tell you right now, I can't support any map that cuts off the business district.
Oh, understood. There's no, understand where you're going there, but the configuration between 101 and 103 in terms of District 7, let me just double check, is not, is not different. I understand.
I think Councilmember Lewis is pointing out the Walmart section, which I believe does not have a population. So even if you added it to 7, like you did in 108, it would maybe make them
does not have
happier.
a substantial population. Let me go back and double check the numbers on that. I don't believe it's 0, but it's also. Give me one moment here so I can get your exact numbers there. So for that census block, it is. It has 56 residents.
Right.
So,
And
and I believe that, when we looked at it the last time.
Yeah, when you
can
added it to 108, it didn't make enough of a percentage increase or decrease, right?
Yes.
Okay. One more question for right now is, so if we were to add that Walmart section and IHOP and Lazy Boy, there's other actually businesses in that section. How long is the waiting period or the posting period from a map that would do that? It's the same for any of the maps, right? So,
Yes.
and is that 8 days? 5. I've heard 3 different numbers, so I want to just double check.
It is 7 days. It has to be posted 7 days prior to approval of the map.
So 7 business days, 7
calendar days.
calendar days. Where did we get 5 or 8? Never mind, doesn't matter. You're saying 7. Yeah, you didn't tell me 8, but, okay, so 7 days from whenever we choose a map, or?
So in order for you to consider something as a draft map, or a final map, it has to have been posted to the public for at least 7 days. So for example, if you move the Walmart into District 7 in this map tonight, it would have to be republished tomorrow as map, say 109, for 7 days prior to the council saying this is our draft map, we're elevating it to a final map. And then the next meeting would be the first reading of an ordinance for the final map. And then we'd need the next regular scheduled meeting for the second reading.
Okay.
Jeff, anything else to add?
No.
Okay.
Okay. My colleagues? Any other questions, comments, discussion?
Not that this was your having to do it, but the whole comment from one of the members of the public about every district having a business or not, is that true for all the maps, or it's just you went by compact population and all that stuff, right?
Yes, for the maps that we drew, yes, we were looking at following the Fair Maps Act guidelines. Now, you could theoretically define a business district as a community of interest, but we didn't get specific direction on that in terms of that being a criteria.
And I think for me, businesses are an interest of the city, so it helps fund our general fund. Okay, I'm good for right now. I'd like to hear what maybe other colleagues would say, and then
Okay. Do we have any other comments? Questions? Okay. Zeidel, I'll wait until you make a motion and then I will.
I'd like to move draft plan 103. I feel like it doesn't have as much of the changes from the original, our current district boundaries. And it seems to qualify with the population and census blocks. And, I still feel that the neighborhoods of interest is really something that us as individual council members, I would hope that we're all interested in other community interests that's not just in our boundary within the city. So with that to me is something that I feel can go one way or another. So that's my motion, is for draft plan 103.
I am going to second with discussion, if possible.
Okay. Feel free.
So for 101, the difference in that area, I wanted to see, I'd like you to zoom in on that one, that little piece that goes across. If you could zoom in on that, I'd like to see a little bit more on that.
Is that both sides of Royal Oaks, or just the north side of Royal Oaks?
It's a census block wide, so so it's north of. Let me really zoom in here.
I think that's what I have now.
Yeah, so it's north of Royal Oaks Drive. But the way that the census blocks are set up there, as you'll recall, the census block encompasses basically that red area. So it's connected, and it would be considered contiguous, considering that fact. That again, the issue with what we call point contiguity is that it has to be literally a point. So if it's like a point of a triangle meeting, that would be considered non-contiguous. But the fact that this is a census block wide, this again would be considered contiguous for the purposes of the Fair Maps Act.
And then I'm wondering for my colleague, Councilmember Lewis, the 56 people is that a deal breaker for you, sir, on the 56 people for the Walmart district? Councilmember Lewis.
Again, I I want my Walmart. And I don't see any reason why the boundaries can't extend up to the freeway. It doesn't take away from the census or anything. So, like I said, with the Walmart, my vote will be a positive vote. Without the Walmart, my vote would be no.
So if I do a friendly motion, would that work? Or I have to withdraw a motion?
You can
Right.
withdraw or amend your motion, that's fine.
Okay, I'd like to amend my motion for District 7 to include the section where Walmart is, for the
Okay,
56.
for which map?
Oh, I'm sorry. I made the motion for
103.
103.
Okay. So we would have to go back and make sure that we've got population balance related with that. I haven't done that yet, since obviously this is something we're just hearing. Looking at 103, District 7 is 2.92% over population, and District 6 is 0.96% under the ideal. If you give me a moment, let me just double check that and make sure that we're okay on that.
Wait, where's 108? See, he did it here.
Yeah, you did.
And so it appears that, and again, I just want to go back and triple check this, but it appears that you would be within the population deviation. You'd be okay. The one other thing that you could do on, if you're looking at 103, if you see here, one of the things that we did to balance out the population was have this area. And let me double check the amount of people that are in there. You could take that out and exchange it for.
I think that's going to be
There's
more than
there's
56.
there's 100 and,
Yeah.
169.
It's going to be more than 56.
Yeah.
From
So
the-
I mean, if you wanted to take that out, you could balance that off with the
Swapping it for the 56
yes.
in the Walmart.
Yep. Let's see.
Now, I do want to.
Yes, and that and doing that, it would remain population balanced.
I do want to preface that any of these maps, with the exception of 108, would require an election between incumbent, and possibly other challengers. So I just want to make that very clear, and I'm aware of that. And 108, I feel, is with what the other public speaker mentioning the gerrymandering. I think when we went from 5 to 7 4 years ago, I think it was necessary because of the way the city was moving in a direction, and to keep a majority of our senior council members on council. And I've always been open to the way elections work, and you win some, you lose some, but I feel that this map would be the most fair for our residents, and there's not a significant enough change. Yeah, because I think even if I went with 101, which is very similar to mine, current district, and I think the only business I had was the chamber, to be honest. Chamber and the nail shop, that one little sliver. So it really, for me, it definitely is about the residents and the service that we provide to the entire city. And I'm going to just stay with that motion. So does that work with the whole friendly or amendment to with adding Walmart to the map and then?
So for clarification, were you going to amend your own motion to add the
did-
Walmart? Did you?
Oh, yes, yes,
So you are doing that?
yes.
Okay, and then for the seconder of the motion, Councilmember Schultz, you'd have to also be okay with that amendment.
I'm okay with that.
Okay,
I'll second it.
so then the motion would be to approve map 103 with the additional edit, adding the Walmart into the newly drawn District 7.
And just to be clear, do we want to take out the little foot in District 7 to balance that out?
Yes.
Okay, so we're making the two edits. So add the Walmart into District 7 and move the
Yeah, 'cause-
the foot area.
So
in-
then it's only, not, I shouldn't say only, but basically 50 residents that offsets that, right?
Yes,
Because
essentially.
56 and 108, whatever you said.
Yes.
Okay.
I have another discussion point. Can we also add the Walmart to 101? And
Oh.
population balance that one too?
Let me double check.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get my handy dandy calculator out. One moment.
Wait, you can't do it in your head. Just kidding.
I want to be 100% certain that I'm doing the math right. So yes, that would be population balanced.
I'd like to withdraw my original motion to move for draft map 101 with the Walmart, the swap, and all that. And you can even see my maps. That's
So
what
let me
it's
just
about.
make sure we're
Yeah.
clear. So the motion to approve map 103 with those edits was withdrawn. Therefore, your new motion and the only motion on the floor is to adopt map 101 where you add the Walmart into District 7 and remove that foot.
There's no.
Oh, there's no foot.
Yeah,
Okay,
there's
so it's
no
just
foot-
adding the
there's no foot in
Walmart.
101.
Foot is,
Right.
yeah, number one is
So
footless.
it's just adding the Walmart to map 101 in District 7.
So it would be, so it's,
Is that
so it would be,
calculate?
yes, it would be this area in here, adding that into District 7.
That is correct.
Okay.
Right. Okay, so I need a second. right?
Correct. You need a second.
I'll second it, but I feel like we should do both because in 7 days, it's 7 days. So I feel like since they have to be posted for 7 days, is there harm in adjusting 101 and 103 with these adjustments? Is there a harm in that? Because we're not voting to elevate a map right now, correct? Or are we?
So if it were one of the original maps that have been posted, then you were voting to elevate those draft maps into a final map. However, if you make edits, then you're just elevating it so that it can be posted for the 7 days necessary to be considered a draft map. So you can move to actually elevate both with the edits that were discussed.
I think we should do that. Is that your,
Those were my first two maps, ever since we got the maps in the first place, before, the conversation with the few extras. So I'll make a motion for draft plan map 101 and 103 with those particular adjustments, amendments.
nice second?
Okay.
Can you do me a favor and zoom in a little bit? I can't even see what's going on anymore.
Sure. Which area would you like
Or
to?
just, which map are we using now?
So this
101?
this is 101. What particular area did you want to see?
The overall, so I can see a little bit more. It's so small, okay. Can you zoom in a little bit?
Into which area?
Right in the middle.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Now what?
Is there further discussion?
Oh, no. Do other people have discussion? So basically what we're saying then is those are two of them that we can elevate. Is that right?
It's the discretion of the council, but it's my understanding that that's the motion, so.
Okay. I would like to present a substitute motion, and that would be to elevate map 108.
And I second that.
And I have a variety of reasons to go ahead and elevate that map. But I guess I really won't get into it. I know map 101 definitely looks like it is gerrymandered. There's no doubt about that. And I actually like draft map 105 too, but the contiguity was one of the number one things on the issue. I believe that was a state mandate. The federal mandate is to go ahead and make sure that we have approximately the same size districts. And I really, as you know, none of us wanted to be districted in the first place. We all wanted to be at large. And there's a reason for that, because I think it really helps with everyone feeling like they are one community. We have worked hard to go ahead and feel like that with districting, but there are still problems with it. So I do not support draft map 101 because of the reason that Zeidel just said, that gerrymandering is a problem there. 103 is probably less like that, but I believe that draft map 108 accomplishes everything that we want to accomplish. In addition, and I know it's not important at all, we would all be running in our own districts, because right now, that's what John Fasana said so long ago. He said, the state is telling us when we have to vote, and they're telling us how we have to vote with our districting. And he said, that's the reason we have 7 districts, for people that don't understand why our city has 7 districts. He said, they're not going to go ahead and make sure that one of us takes the others out. And so with all due respect to John Fasana, and we voted on this 4 years ago, and people up here had no problem with it. And so to go ahead and vote against it just doesn't make sense to me. We are handling the contiguity with 108. We're handling Walmart, Tony, for 108. That was always in our discussion. We always wanted to have you have Walmart because
And I appreciate that, Mayor.
and it's important. But I absolutely believe that 108 is frankly in the best interest of the people of our community. So that's my motion. And anyone else like to go ahead and speak on this?
So we can
Yeah.
have three of these?
So I actually wanted to ask for clarification. So because 108 has been published as a draft map, you are able to make a motion to adopt it as a final map to be brought back at the next meeting for a first reading. So I just wanted to clarify that your motion was to elevate 108 to the next meeting, as the other motion was to elevate 101 and 103, correct?
That's what I believe theirs was, but
Okay.
we can go ahead and take 108 as you said,
To elevate,
well, no, she said a final.
or to elevate as a final.
So to elevate the map, meaning you bring it back with the other two potentially for a discussion, another one of these public hearings, or you adopt the draft map as your final map. And so the next meeting that we have would be the first reading of the ordinance to approve the map 108.
108. Okay. All right. Go ahead, Caesar.
So we need clarification from the motion, the maker of the motion and the second.
Oh, for 108?
Correct.
Go ahead and make it as a final draft.
So you're moving to adopt draft plan 108 as the final map to be brought back at the next meeting?
Sure, and if people
for
don't like
first
it,
reading
then
of
we'll
ordinance. Thank you.
deal with it at that time.
So there still
And I'll
has to
go
be a
ahead and
vote.
second that.
Yeah, you have a second.
Correct. So we have the first and the second, and now we need to vote on that.
I think Caesar wanted to say something. Can he talk?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, so obviously I think we're gonna need more discussion on all of this, because I don't know how many maps we can elevate tonight, but 105 looks pretty good to me. So I don't know if we're elevating the final, can we discuss the other three maps at the next meeting, or is that just not an option?
Yes, you can. So you are able to elevate as many maps as you want to the next city council meeting. And at that time, a ordinance for first reading will be presented, but that would be up to your discretion whether to vote to adopt the first reading or to pick another map.
It is.
Council members, I just want to, Councilmember Garcia, I just want to make sure that, we are here at the public hearing. And so if you have any comments, please direct it to the mayor on the mic. Thank you.
Okay, well, I just like to motion to elevate 105 for discussion for the next meeting.
Okay, is there a second on that? I will second it.
So just so you know, this is the second sub-motion, and so under Robert's Rule of Order, we are allowed to have a first motion, a second, a sub-motion, and then another
Right,
sub-motion.
and that is the last we can have.
Correct.
Right.
And
So,
so he would need a second for the sub-sub-motion.
and I just did.
Okay, and so then you would vote on that sub-sub-motion first.
But we can vote yes on all of these.
I believe.
Correct. Well,
Except number 2, of course, would be making it a final. So I possibly could go ahead and change that to, my motion would be, and this would be my friendly amendment, I think it would still work, would not be to elevate it as a final, but just to elevate it as a draft.
if the second of the motion is okay with that?
I'm okay with that. I'll second.
Okay?
We just extra complicated.
So maybe I
things.
might recommend that all the motions be withdrawn and that
Yeah.
one motion be made to elevate map 105 as is, if that is what you
What-
desire.
I'd like to ask the reasoning of 105.
I understand the continuity part, We've discussed it. But once again, I'm thinking of what's the most good for the most amount of people. I think 105 is very similar to what we have right now. And if it's been able to be done in the past, I don't see why it can't be done at this time.
I think, wait,
Sure,
is
Max.
105 the one that,
Is it pretty much
One-
the same? as
105 's
what
on the
it's-
2
screen.
years, no, is that the one that Councilmember
This-
Chong and Councilmember Schultz? I don't have my little.
No,
chart-
105
chart.
is similar to what we have now, Zeidel. The
Correct.
contiguity for my district is not there.
I'm sorry. Oh, no, I have
I pulled up
105.
105 on the
Yeah.
screen, so you can see it.
Council member, if you're asking if any council members are paired in 105, they are not.
There's no council members paired in 105?
That is correct.
Okay.
And there's also no Walmart in 105.
Hey, you need a
Right,
Walmart.
well, just
buddy.
add your Walmart, Mr. Lewis.
Add
Don't worry about
Walmart
it.
to all of them,
Yeah,
please.
add the Walmart section
It's
for
the
him. for every
continuity
map.
part.
Can I get a Walmart too?
So I have a question. So we're doing all this because the law is requiring us to. So how defensible are each of these maps if we were to be sued?
Councilmember, are you asking me?
I'm asking
Okay.
whoever knows the
So,
answer to this question.
Unfortunately, because this is the first year that the Fair Maps Act has been implemented, we don't have any final judgments yet as to cities that have been, or agencies that have been sued. However, we do know, based on the strong language contained in the Fair Maps Act, that the first priority after compliance with the US, California constitutions, as well as the Voting Rights Act of 1965, is that contiguity is the highest priority. And then you have fairly defined boundaries, communities of interest, fairly defined boundaries, and then finally compactness. And so it would require that the council make findings and have evidence in support of why, any of these issues or, not being contiguous is important, because the Fair Maps Act does have language that states that it should be done to the extent practicable.
That's exactly right, Vince. Okay. I'm sorry.
So
Hold on,
we
Tom.
have the sub motion by Councilmember Garcia to adopt map 105 with, I believe, adding the Walmart from District 6 into District 7, and that was seconded by Mayor Finley. Because Mayor Finley made an amendment to her own motion to, instead of adopting draft map 108 as the final map for the next council meeting, and Councilmember Kang agreed to that friendly amendment, I recommend scrapping all the motions and having one motion that elevates map 101 with the amendment to move Walmart into District 7, map 103 with amendments to move Walmart into District 7, as well as remove the little L foot at the bottom of District 7, as well as elevate map 108 as is, and elevate map 105 with Walmart into District 7. So that would be one motion.
Wait, did you make the motion?
No, I'm
You-
recommending that it would
clearing
include
it.
all of, yes, it would include all of the area issues and items, the maps that you will want to elevate to the next meeting to be considered at the next meeting.
I'll withdraw map 103 and just go with 101. With the Walmart and all that stuff.
Yeah, this is just a recommendation based on the dialogue that's happened at the dais.
Okay.
So if you all wanted to withdraw your motion and go with, 101 with those amendments, 108 with the amendments, 108, and then the 105 with the amendments.
I think I understand. So it's elevating map 101 with the Walmart added to District 7 and that little flip on the bottom end? Okay, so adding the Walmart on the 101 and then the 108 and then the 105, also adding the Walmart.
Yes, so if you'd like to make that motion, that
I'll
would,
make that motion.
okay.
I'll sec-
Okay, would you like to restate the motion then?
Yes, so as I understand it, The motion by Councilmember Trung and seconded by Councilmember Garcia is to elevate map 101 with the amendment that you move Walmart into District 7, elevate map 108 as is, and elevate map 105 with moving the Walmart into District 7. All for consideration at the next council meeting.
And I'm sorry, you said 105 was the third one you just mentioned?
Correct.
Okay.
So this totally, it takes off all the rest of the maps. The only maps that we're going to be looking at moving forward would be those 3 maps, right?
101, 105, and 108.
So legally, oh,
No, go ahead.
no, just legally, you are able and allowed to consider any maps anytime, even maps submitted by the public up until the date
Right.
that is required.
The deadline.
However, for purposes of discussion, you have considered those other maps and you can focus and hone in on those 3 maps that you're elevating
Understood.
tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Well, we have good choices. So now we take a roll call? or-
So you can discuss the motion
got it.
or the chair, Madam
Oh.
Mayor, can call for the vote.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, then let's go ahead and call for the vote. I think that's you, Dan.
I think,
Or are you going to
I
do it?
think we have a
Annette?
very equipped city clerk to do that. Go right ahead.
Oh,
Councilmember King,
Yes.
Councilmember Lewis,
Yes.
Councilmember Trung,
Yes.
Councilmember Schultz,
Yes.
Councilmember Garcia,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Paris Karachi,
yes.
Mayor Finley.
Yes,
Motion passes 7-0.
okay, thank you. Jeff, as usual, way to put it in there.
Thank you.
All right. All right. So now we are, okay, I think we're done with the public hearing now, so let's go to special items. And we've got recognition of Duarte's energy efficiency efforts from the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, city staff, and members of the audience. My name is Bob Cruz. Until maybe a few months ago, I was your public affairs manager representing Duarte. So it's with a sad heart and a sense of excitement that I come before you this evening to introduce you, to say farewell, number one. So farewell. I am not retiring. Let me squash that rumor. Kristen, right? Okay.
You need to grab the mic and drop it at the end of your speech.
Well, I can just throw it right now.
This one doesn't even work anyway, so if you can use.
I can drop that one? Okay, thank you. But I'm also excited to be here this evening to introduce my replacement who will be representing the city of Duarte. And I'd like to basically ask her to come up, say a few words. And my replacement for the gas company in Duarte will be Mrs. Linneo Shields. Linnea?
Honorable Mayor and council members, I'm delighted to be here. Bob is not only a colleague, but he is a dear friend. Big shoes to fill, but your constituents and are our customers. So I could not be more proud to be a representative at SoCalGas and continue to work together to strengthen our partnership. So thank you very much. I also have another colleague here from SoCalGas. She is part of our energy efficiency team, and she's here to present the city with an award. So with that, Janine.
Good evening, Mayor Finley, council members. My name is Jeannie Kong, and I also represent SoCalGas. So I'm here today to present the highest award that we had last year, Platinum, for the Energy Awards program that we had with the partnership. Next slide, please. I want to give you a little background. So the San Gabriel Valley Energy Wise Partnership is a collaboration between SoCalGas and San Gabriel Valley COG, and we provided financial incentive for cities direct energy savings through the installation of energy efficiency measures. We also provided education and outreach efforts related to energy efficiency and conservation. This is all funded by the California Public Utility Commission. Next slide, please. Hi. So we implemented a program called Energy San Gabriel Energy Champion Awards. And this was also, it's an increase in the energy efficiency field with municipal facilities in the community. And the agencies must implement specific energy efficiency actions in order to receive the recognition in the silver, gold, and platinum. Next slide. So the city of Duarte, yeah, they received the platinum tier at the end of last year by completing the following actions. Yeah. Okay, so the city of Duarte attended all 6 San Gabriel Valley Energy Work Group meetings. They completed the gas lamp regulator upgrades, and they upgraded the pool heating system, installed a smart thermostat and HVAC units. Next slide, please. Okay, and participated in the energy efficiency Twitter chats, hosted the energy efficiency marketing campaign, and attended the 2 energy efficiency workshops, and participated in the joint partnership LGP webinar. And the city of Duarte was the first to receive the platinum tier, and we're so happy to award this platinum award. Hold on a second, let me take it out of the box. Here we go, here it is. So next slide. I want to congratulate the city of Duarte on your wonderful accomplishments, and we look forward to continuing working with you to build this extraordinary, exciting, and promising future of the San Gabriel Valley area. So here we go. Thank you. Are we going to take a picture?
Madam Mayor and Council, would you join us so we can take a picture? Whatever's easiest for you.
We can toss it onto the, or you go that way. Right.
Stand up. We can go down there.
They're already out.
Yeah, it doesn't look like, no, we don't look, yeah. I didn't put enough blush on.
Sorry if the lighting's just so miserable.
Y'all speak for yourself instead of Matt out. More than.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Did I say that out loud?
As a representative.
Did I mention our ambassador?
You wrote all
All right. The gases. He goes, do you realize that CNG is only $1.99 a gallon? He goes, I'm going out and buy one. Oh, yeah, he was just outraged, absolutely outraged.
I picked the tallest person.
I know.
Because it makes me feel taller. So you right here.
I'd like to say I'm there. Okay, right here. I mean, they're supposed to put in person. Now you're always there.
Like a U? Oh, a little.
A smiley face.
I think you can get a little bit closer. Okay, so turn it in.
Okay. You have to tell me how it's going.
All right, 3, 2. All right, you all ready?
Okay, everybody is supposed to stay down here. Thank you. Okay, yeah, we're gonna, we just wanna embarrass Bob.
Now, Bob can go ahead and sing it back.
Drop the mic.
Yeah. That's something else.
Okay.
L-A-N-A.
All right, we're gonna just kind of go ahead. Everybody's gonna stay down here because we want to present something to Bob Cruz. Bob, come on over here. And we're gonna get pictures with you too. We have a plaque and a tile. We just don't hand these things out to just anybody, Bob. I mean, just to let you know. These things are expensive. So Bob has been our representative for how many years?
Over 20.
Over 20 years.
Ed Ferguson was on the school board.
That's right. My dad was on the school board at the time, and because you were on the school board at that time in Covina?
Charter Oak, yeah.
Charter Oak. So honestly, you have been an absolute dream to work with. You have, and I hope we're your favorite city. And
You are. Duarte is my favorite city.
okay, at least for this council meeting tonight, right? Anyway, so our plaque here says Robert Cruz. The city of Duarte wishes to thank Robert Cruz of Southern California Gas Company for his friendship and strong working relationship with our city for the past 20 years. Our city has benefited from his knowledge and expertise, and we look forward to continuing working with him in his new role as the franchise fees and planning manager. The city of Duarte congratulates Robert on his promotion and wishes him the best in his new role. So congratulations. All right, we will picture up here with all my colleagues.
It's expensive tile, so.
Trust me.
It looked good on your backdrop. Maria, the tile looked good in the kitchen backdrop. Good?
Thank you
Yeah, it's not a cutting board.
No, not anymore. Definitely not.
It was lovely working with you. Trust me, I have your cell phone number.
All right.
It's always fun. Bob has to thank his wife because she allowed him to be in Duarte a lot of the time.
All right.
Thank you, Maria, for sharing him with us.
I just have to say on record, because I promised Kristen I would say this, that Duarte is my favorite city. Thank you.
Come on, Robert, don't make us pick our towel back. Okay, Duarte ain't home.
Okay, before Bob leaves.
We gotta go back down?
No, I don't think so. Hey, Bob, before you leave, we want the chamber to come up here. Sorry, Shoshana, it just is so exciting not to have Bob here that we totally forgot.
That's okay. I would never let you forget me. Bob, we are so honored to have had you with us for so many years. Ours is not a lovely placard you can put on your dining room table, but something you can hang on your wall for a very long time,
Thank you.
and something you can take your wife to dinner with, a very, very nice dinner with.
Even better.
We are so grateful for everything you've done. You pioneered so many issues for us, and you forged forward to make a lot of things happen at the chamber and in the business community. And we are grateful, eternally grateful for your service. The board of directors is eternally grateful, and I am so glad to have come in to an amazing situation that you helped create.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And please,
Thank you.
now
Okay,
Victoria,
thanks, Shoshana.
Victoria did say that you would, in a future agenda, you're going to create a Bob Cruz Day in Duarte. Is that true? No?
Well, wait a minute. I thought it was supposed to be for a week. It was Bob Cruz Week.
Hey, I like it. I just want to say I have truly enjoyed serving and representing the gas company in this great city. And watching this council work tonight, this is what democracy looks like. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks very much, Bob.
Wait, Bob, you're gonna have to drop the mic, y'all.
Don't break our mic, Bob. Bob, we're gonna take that out of your check.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we are at item 7, which is announcements of upcoming community events. And we usually get Victoria and Joanna. Joanna, since you actually filled out one of these cute orange slips, we're going to let you go ahead and take it away.
Good evening, Duarte City Council. Joanna G. from the Duarte Public Library. Some programs to let you know. We have Toddler Story Time, Smart Pants Story Time every Fridays in March. It starts at 11 a.m. and we do require registration as well as masks. We also have personalized pencil boxes for kids ages 5 to 12 on Wednesday, March 30th at 4 p.m. We have a teen program Wednesday, March 23rd at 3:30 p.m. And we also have some kits for adults. These are called embroidery notebooks, so adults can pick one up and do it at their house. I, of course, didn't do this one because I'm not that talented. We also have teen kits that they can pick up. Teens are for 13 and 18. They get to pick a watercolor paint, and they get to decorate the postcards with it. And the postcards look like these. And then we also have some COVID kits to pass out. We received 300 COVID kits today, so it's up for grab, one per person while supplies last. We also have
What's in it?
COVID kit?
Yeah.
One test kit.
Oh,
I mean, it's free, right?
I don't know what you're talking about. It could be a mask or
Oh,
hand
it's a
sanitizer.
COVID test kit where you stick it up your nose, and swab it, and then you wait a couple
Can
minutes.
you elaborate a little bit more?
Well, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I heard it hurts, but it doesn't hurt. But who knows? If you stick it far enough, I'm sure it hurts. But,
Okay.
one big announcement to make is that our library hours are changing. Starting next week, we are closed on Mondays and Sundays. We'll be open Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 12 to 8, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 10 to 6. And that's about it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thank you. Thank you.
I didn't fill out a speaker card, but hopefully I'm still allowed up here. I'm happy to announce that our next Duarte City News is up on the website, and hopefully all of you got a hard copy, as did our seniors. We also have some copies here in City Hall if someone wants to pick one up. Upcoming events include March 16th, 2 to 3:30 p.m., so a little bit different time. Starbucks with the Sheriffs at our Duarte Starbucks, which is at 1263 Huntington Drive. We change up the time hoping that maybe we get a whole different group of people to come out and meet with some of our sheriffs, also for you to get your late afternoon caffeine. Other things coming, we have April 5th from 6:30 to 8 p.m., our State of the City and Schools at the Duarte City Hall Courtyard. The City of Duarte and Duarte Unified School District invite residents to the 2022 State of the City and Schools address on April 5th at the Duarte City Hall Courtyard. Duarte School Board President Reina Diaz will share her plans on Duarte's youth in 2022, and Mayor Margaret Finley will recognize all of the city's accomplishments in 2021 and shed light on the city's plans for the year ahead. The event is free and open to the public. Light refreshments will be available after the ceremony. And then last up, we have on April 13th, and this was a great partnership. Foothill Credit Union actually reached out to our office and said, we want to partner with you to host a blood drive for City of Hope. So it's great when we have organizations reaching out to us, knowing that we have these wonderful facilities to support another organization that we have in the city. So we're going to be having that here from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. in the Duarte Community Center. And to register, and it is live now if you want to donate blood, it's idonatebloodforhope.org. Any questions?
And what date is that going to be?
April 13th.
April 13th.
April
Okay, and
13th.
what day is that?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me pull up my calendar
Sorry, I could look it
here.
up, but-
That's okay.
April-
That is a Wednesday.
Wednesday,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
So you said 10 to 3?
10 to
that
3.
We can donate here. Okay.
Correct. And the great thing is with Foothill Credit Union being the partner, you know they're going to bring some swag.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
any other questions?
Do you have a copy of the Duarte Senior News?
Not on me. I bet I know where I can
re-
get one.
I want to just compliment that addition to the Duarte City News. um, I appreciate, and quite frankly, some of the seniors at the Women's Club appreciated seeing it. And I thought, oh gosh, I should have asked for just a handful more. So are those being mailed out or given out to through the senior center, or how is that being distributed?
So I'm gonna guess Manuel would answer this question better than me, but let me try. So he has wonderful new staff who have come in and they have this great design skills. I suspect that they've put together a little bit of facelift to the newsletter and they distribute it there at the senior center.
It looks good. I'll just say that because I did.
It's also available on our website.
Yeah, you know, I like the paper. I just was trying to look for a class that I was old enough to attend. Not yet.
Not yet.
Close. I would have to drag Casey with me in order to get in. So, but kudos to your team and Susie. I'm sure she had a lot to do with it, and that's wonderful. So, thank you.
Anything else?
I have a question.
Oh,
Yeah, go ahead.
So the last state of the city, someone came out and danced to We Will Rock You. Who's going to do that this time? No? No? Okay, just had to check.
And those were actual Fender guitars. Paula Watson Gardner worked for Fender, and she still does, but those 4 were her collection of Fenders. So it was I wasn't Freddie Mercury, but it was all good.
Okay.
thank you.
Hey, thank you, Victoria. You do a great job. We appreciate it. And Manuel, that does look really, really nice. But I am a senior, and I'm not in there. I am a senior. There we go. I know. Okay, thank you. Oh, whoa, okay, we've got more people.
We have a new face, yes. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Since it's been a while since I've been up here, my name is Angela, and I'm the Financial Services Manager. And tonight, I'd like to introduce to you the newest member of our team, Pedro Adame. He is our new Administrative Services Secretary, and he comes to us from the City of Azusa, working in their Light and Water Department as a cashier. And today marks 2 weeks since he's been with us, and we're very excited and happy to have him on our team. And I'll let him say a few words.
All right, would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, hello, Madam Mayor and City Council. Just wanted to say that it's an honor to be working with the City of Duarte for my first time full-time job. And I'm excited for the experience that I'm going to gain to excel my resume and to other opportunities. So thank you.
All right, thank you and welcome. We're really very, very glad to have you. We all loved Roxanne so much. You are going to have big high heels to fill.
I didn't want to mention that, but
She was very near and dear to all of us, still is. So anyway, welcome. We're glad to have you.
On casual Fridays, which I know we're not open, you should wear a vote for Pedro. I know that's probably not the first time you've heard it, but it's a pleasure to have you here in the city. And yeah, you're gonna have to work really hard. As our mayor said, what size is your foot? Oh, those would be ugly heels on you. So just leave it that.
Sam.
I just want to thank Azusa.
Seriously.
I can only imagine right now, so.
Okay,
thank you so much.
great. Thank you very much. I'll look forward to seeing you when I go into City Hall. Okay, on Friday, that's right. Okay, I think we are to the point in our agenda when it is item 8, which is oral communications. So do we have anyone that would like to come and speak under oral communications? This appears twice on our city council agenda because we want to hear from people. So, yes, Mr. Paris.
Lino Paras. On the way here, I choose 105 freeway. Anyway, my input is I think the city should consider having this chamber ADA compliant with regards to the council in there because there is now ADA type thing from there to here. And you never know, in the future, you might have council member who is maybe on a wheelchair. You never know, right? And the way I see it, it's not compliant of you guys interacting to the residents or audience when it's called for. So I think this one is a good way for that ADA compliance type thing, at least in my way of thinking. You got that stair ready. This one could easily be reconstructed for a ramp with a handrail. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay. All right, so we are at item 9, which is the consent calendar. Do we have a motion for consent?
Move consent?
Second?
Consent has been moved and seconded, and that includes resolutions and ordinances, absences, minutes, warrants, the 2 reports from Community Development, Parks and Rec, the reauthorization of teleconference public meetings, second reading and the adoption of ordinance number 907, and the award of contract for city attorney services to Rutan and Tucker. So we have a motion and a second. Could we go ahead and have a roll call vote, please?
Mayor, prior to taking the vote, I just wanted to make note that for ordinance number 907, in paragraph number 6, we will need to remove language regarding exhibit B1, B2, and B3 because there is no exhibit attachment to the ordinance.
Okay.
So we'll just be removing that language.
Okay. All right. Actually, in lieu of roll call, if there's anyone that is objecting, please let it be known. Otherwise, we will go with a unanimous vote on this. Okay? Thank you. Public hearings continued. We have none. And now we have item 12, which is our business item, which is a co-sponsorship request from KidFit Preschool Health and Fitness Organization for the KidFit Family Run 5K on Saturday, May 21st, 2022, and the approval of the standard co-sponsorship package, which includes the waiving of a $325 in city fees. And I believe we had Michelle Silence. You were here to speak to this. And I also understand that you are asking for a little bit of a grace period here as far as extending. How long do you want to have? 5 minutes?
Oh, I'll be done in 5 minutes, yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Council. Thank you for the opportunity to speak on co-sponsorship for the first annual KidFit Family Fun Run 5K. 5Ks are really popular. As you know, all the cities around us have one. We're one of the few cities that does not have an official certified 5K. Arcadia has had the Santa Anita Derby Day since 1999. This year, they're expecting 4,200 participants. Sierra Madre's Mount Wilson Trail Race has been going on sporadically since 1908. Monrovia has Fountain to the Falls Run and Walk since 2011, and San Dimas has their 9th annual 5K for Fragile X this year since 2013. So 5Ks are great for the community. They bring diverse groups of people together. They attract consumers from other towns and offer a stable fundraiser that can be supported by all. More than half of the proceeds of the KidFit Family Fun Run 5K will go directly to Duarte youth. The rest going to the KidFit Preschool Health and Fitness Organization, which has served young children at the local, national, and international level for 27 years. Organizing a 5K is a lot of work and costs a lot of money. It needs to start almost a year ahead of time, and finding someone willing to put in the vast amounts of time and energy, who has the skills to organize, market, delegate, lead, and motivate various groups of people to participate and volunteer is not easy. The first years are really rough, and there's a lot to learn and a lot of expenses, especially first-time expenses. Since October, I have borrowed and scraped up the fees to get us to this point, taking a leap of faith that this will succeed by everyone doing their part. Sponsorship funds are ideally supported to cover the cost of running the 5K so that the registration fees can be profit. And even though we're continuing the Hayden 5K run in a sense, there is no history for this new Kid Fit event. And coming out of a pandemic, businesses are hard to get on board too. That's why we very much need the city's co-sponsorship and are eager to start announcing it. But we ask you to waive not just the city fees associated with the planning department, banners, permits, and such, but also porta potties, park usage, and security. Now, we're well aware of the security cost, that it's very large, which is why we really need your support with it. It's the largest expense by far and will literally make the difference between this year making any money at all or going in the red. It's more than half of the expenses for the entire race. It appears that the permit won't be issued without upfront payment for these costs, and we simply do not have a way to cover them at this point. My biggest concern, though, of all, is that for this first year to produce some profit, even if it's not much, because so much work has already been put in by the volunteers. Duarte Youth are excited to develop a new and exciting fundraiser, some of which are here tonight, but a lot of others that are not. They want a fundraiser that showcases their abilities, strengths, skills, and is fun. And if there is not enough money to cover expenses this first year, our volunteers will not be able to do this again. I won't be able to devote this kind of time and money, and I know the kids will not want to put forth their effort again either. And if we can just get help covering these expenses, even if you can help us obtain sponsors who can cover them, we can move ahead confidently that the event will be a success. And we are trying. We have a committee member who is a retired county employee who has approached Catherine Barger's office, and she is willing to sponsor us. She hasn't said how much, but she's aware of the high cost of the security and wants to help. So we haven't received a dollar amount on that yet, but she is willing to help as well. Our team has been working hard on this for 6 months. So much has already been done. We've obtained the traffic plan, the use of 2 parking lots, have a sponsor for the stage and sound system. The course has been certified and sanctioned. Insurance is in place and the timing company has been paid for. Promotional materials are currently being distributed throughout the valley. Other races and running clubs are giving out our materials. Social media is set up and volunteers are signing up. I brought some promotional materials here tonight, and I also wanted to announce one fun contest that involves the council. This Tri-City official competition involves teams from Duarte, Arcadia, and Monrovia who will vie for the top time in both walking and running. The teams are in groups of 3 and can consist of anyone on the school board, city council, or city manager. It's a friendly competition to foster community and bring people together after a long, hard time without group activities. And there are other contests too: kids band competition, kids fastest teams, Tri-City firefighter battle, and a preschool registration contest. We are passionate about kids, promoting healthy lifestyles, and educating others that fitness can be fun. Duarte needs a community event that can raise money for the kids right here. We need to do better at promoting health and wellness for all of our citizens too. And we can do all of that with an annual 5K if each of us gives it our best. If we work together and give it our all, with just a little help to get this off the ground, we can have a 5K that grows over time, just like those in all the other cities around us. So I'm hoping for your suggestions and help on how to cover some of the larger expenses, because we have everything else covered. We're ready to go and we're really excited, and we know the youth are excited too. So thank you for your time, and if you have any questions.
I do have a question.
Okay, I'm sure we all have a lot.
Madam Mayor,
Yeah, go ahead,
I
Dave.
just want to say one thing, which is that we have a staff person, Joyce Ayala, who can give a staff report, who I think would fill in some of the
Okay.
factual questions you may have. And if it's okay, I know Ms. Silent just spoke, you may want to ask her some questions, but if you can hold those, perhaps Joyce can answer them in her presentation, and you can come together and then ask both Joyce, I always want to say Joyce, Ms. Ayala, and I always afraid I'm saying your last name wrong, Ms. Silence, or even some of our other staff members who worked a lot on analyzing this proposal.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Ayala.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of Congress. So I am here to talk a little bit more about what Michelle Silence already mentioned. But if we can move the slide. So I just want to give a little bit of background on the KidFit organization. So KidFit Preschool Health and Fitness, the organization began in 1991 by Michelle Silence. It is currently headquartered in Monrovia.
Ms.
and-
Ayala, Mr. White, could we increase the volume slightly? Or maybe I just don't
All
have
right,
a
I can
speaker.
talk louder.
Oh, talk loud. I
It's
was
her-
wondering,
it's her
I thought,
height.
that's weird. How did
Yeah,
you-
I'm kind of tall.
Awesome,
So.
awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, KidFit is currently headquartered in Monrovia, California, and is a division of Aerobic Fitness Consultants Incorporated. KidFit is essentially an organization that offers physical education classes for children aged 2 through 5, and they also include a curriculum for students with disabilities within that age range. Next slide, please. Okay, there we go. KidFit is, as Michelle mentioned, is currently seeking to hold a 5K run in the city of Duarte. And she mentioned in her report that, that the 5K run would benefit the children and the students in Duarte in 2 ways. One, by hosting a successful 5K, KidFit will be able to provide a full year of virtual fitness programming for children in preschools, kindergarten through 1st grade, and also including students with disabilities. 2, it would allow for volunteer opportunities, as Michelle mentioned, for students in our Duarte high schools. And part of those proceeds will be given to the high schools. It is unclear to staff exactly how KidFit will coordinate with the high schools in receiving those proceeds, but that could be a question that council can seek to ask. Okay, next slide. There we go, the map. Okay, so as shown on the presentation, the starting line and participant lineup will take place along the Donald and Bernice Watson Recreation Trail and will continue west of Vineyard Avenue. Participants will run or walk west on the trail, and the race will continue until the turnaround at Buena Vista Street. The racers, once they reach the end of Buena Vista, they will return east, and the trail will continue until they reach the finish line once again in Vineyard Avenue. I do want to point out that although the trail is being used, the exclusive use of the trail is not part of the city sponsorship package. All costs and fees will just be pertaining to the park, which will be Royal Oaks Park. And according to their application, the park will be used for the stage setup, reunion, any afterward activity, the award ceremony, that's what the park would be used for. So what the city is proposing and what we recommend council accept is that we waive the special event permit application fee, which is $100, coming from community development. According to our reports, KidFit has communicated themselves with public safety, where public safety staff would be able to set up the barricades and also take them down for the event by public safety staff and volunteers. Marketing material, that would be something that our city manager's office would be able to assist with. So first of all, we'd be able to assist in waiving the fee for the Buena Vista banner application. We'd also be able to market their material, but one of our propositions is that all of their material needs to have our Duarte seal or logo to include our partnership along with it. That we'd also be able to promote their 5K run with through our electronic sign, and then the city would be able to write a press release promoting this event as well. I also want to note that as of February 22nd of this year, KidFit was notified that if they would like assistance for trash pickup, they would need to reach out to Vertec to include those services. And they would also need to provide a company and let us know what company they're using for their traffic control for the event. Okay, and we can move to the next slide. So a summary of city permit fees and costs. As Michelle mentioned, the biggest cost that we have for this event is the $8,000 that will be for the usage of public safety staff and volunteers. The $8,000 is funding 7 hours of work for our public safety deputies, sheriffs, and other members that are going to be working the event. The next highest cost is the $542.50 that, once again, as I mentioned before, will be because we need to pay funds for the park usage. The good thing about that is that the city would be able to waive the damage and cleaning bond fee or refund, which would be $150. And so the next cost that KidFit would have to pay is the $240 for the review and approval of the traffic control plan that would come from community development. Everything else we'd be able to waive, which I know it doesn't sound like a great amount, but I can go ahead and read those numbers. So we'd be able to waive, once again, the special event permit fee, the street banner permit fee, and the community development administrative fee. So next slide, please. So once again, staff is recommending that if this 5K run is approved, that the city of Duarte would be able to waive $325 in city fees for the KidFit Family Fun Run 5K, and the total cost to the city from KidFit would be $8,782.50. So it's a great amount. Again, the $8,000 comes from public safety, so we're opening the discussion.
Thank you, Joyce. That kind of segued right into my comments. You know, in the past, I remember talking to Sister Mary Patrice many years ago about the Hayden 5K, and the question from the sisters was, you know, could I recommend that the city not charge for the cost of public safety and the closure of streets? And my response at that time was I could not recommend that, and because the great amount of expense that would go along with it, because it'd have to be an overtime event. To reschedule our deputies that would be able to be rescheduled would take away from the safety of the city and their overall duties and performing the safety of the city. You know, the greatest liability we have in any event that we permit to close streets that also allow vehicles and pedestrians to also potentially intermix is huge. You know, we have the greatest liability since we're the permittee and allowing somebody to do that. And so I go to great effects to limit the amount of personnel that we have out in the streets, but I have to do it safely. So I know confidently that we can control traffic and we can control pedestrians and we can make for a safe event. That's why we allow and have CERT and DART volunteers, because they can augment some of the paid staff. The other thing is two things to note with the cost is the number of hours that this event is going. In the past, the Hayden 5K ran through everybody all in one time. As soon as they were able to get off the trail and we were able to open the streets, for the most part, we were out of there. This event staggered, makes for a greater event, but it's a longer event, so it's more hours. The other thing is the costs from the Sheriff's Department have gone up considerably the last 3 years, a great amount. To the point where it's a big number, but I just wanted to shed a little light on why those costs are where they're at and why my recommendation is that we have the permit or be funded by the person pulling the permit and not the city. Are there any questions?
Okay, well, we'll start with Sam, then Tony. Go ahead.
Brian, can you remind me what you guys said it earlier? How many hours are we talking about now?
The event's scheduled 7 hours, which is 7 hours. That's a long time. I believe we're out of the Hayden 5K usually anywhere between 3.5 to 4 hours tops.
Right.
Which limits obviously the cost. So you know there could be some tweaks on the race and the way it's run, and we could modify the time because once we're able to open the streets and open the trail, then our part is done. But absent that, and if it wants to extend the way it's ran, we have to be there for the whole entire time.
7 hours, does that mean that we have to close Royal Oaks for 7 hours?
The whole thing, Mount Olive Vineyard, Royal Oaks Drive, northeast and west sections.
Yeah, I don't know
And
how
so-
our residents would feel about that.
Well, the good thing is with Vineyard, you can detour around to Las Lomas. Mount Olive is going to be an intermittent closure. So barring gaps in the runners, walkers, we'd allow traffic to still cycle like we used to do for Hayden 5K. The Royal Oaks Drive north section east and west can detour back up into Bradbury, up and around Lemon, out over through Monrovia and back. So those would be hard closures. Mount Olive would be the intermittent closure.
Okay.
Okay, Tony?
Brian, is it possible that maybe you can use the Sheriff's Explorers for this program, and maybe that could cut costs a little bit? I'm sure that, I know you can't use
well-
all Explorers, but
No, and we could. The Sheriff's Department Explorer program at Temple's been greatly diminished in the number of people. I have as much faith or even greater faith in our Certain Dart program volunteers, which I know will come out and offset that cost because we don't charge for them. We're not charging for the cost of feeding them lunch and water and everything else that supports what they do. Yes, we always ask for volunteers from the Explorers and actually reserves too.
thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Mayor,
Okay, go ahead, doesn't matter who
Um,
goes.
before we start looking at cutting costs, what does sponsorship entail? Let's just say that I can get a corporation or a company to sponsor $8,000. What does this the Kid Fit 5K run provide for the sponsorship, the corporation that is sponsoring that amount of money?
Well, we have a sponsorship package that shows them everything they get for that. Have their logo on a banner and, stuff in the goodie bags, and there's a whole range, array of things, which I can give you the sponsorship package. You can see what they would get for that.
Okay.
Something I do want to mention is that we're not questioning the amount of money that is required for the security. But I do want to make a note that when Hayden did their run, they had a very limited run and they were not looking to grow it into something really big. And we have the amount of hours that we have allocated to that so that we can make it a safe run for all different types of runners, from the serious runners who would go first to the 1K children who would do a 1K, to the people that maybe need to go slower, to the average person. So we have built those times in so that it has room to grow, and we will not outgrow the trail, and the race will not outgrow itself. It will always be able to accommodate more people signing up. So it has a potential to be really a larger event than they were ever able to have. The timing company that came out, they are professional timers and athletes themselves, and they said that that was a really good way to do it. And they also said that because this is on a trail and not on the streets, that people are really going to like this, especially the serious competitive runners. So we have the opportunity to grow. We're not saying that the expenses are too high. We understand that people have to be out there that whole time, but we just need a way to be able to cover these expenses.
Yeah, that's exactly why I posed that question, because it sounds like a great event, but first and foremost is the safety of the people in our cities.
Right.
And also the people that are in this event. So with the opportunity of us promoting the event and getting companies or our network of people to help try to sponsor this. and
Absolutely.
knowing what that sponsorship package entails, it gives me the opportunity to reach out to certain people.
Oh, I have
That's
some
the
here for you.
reason why I'm asking.
I can give it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Zeidel?
Did this particular 5K proposal go to our Parks and Recreation Commission at all? Not at all.
We
Okay.
discussed it. I don't know if you got a copy of the permit, but we did discuss it.
So the commission discussed it. I'm
The
sorry.
commission did not discuss this.
Okay.
item.
It's just a permit submitted to City Hall.
Well,
We-
and true, Zeidel, it's not a city event.
Right.
It's
That's
just,
why I'm saying, meaning, it's not a city event, but I think Parks and Recreation could help vet some of the things. like my other question was, is there even ample parking for staggering? And I know you're
Yes.
saying, yes, even
yes.
with the Route 66 parade, it was a little ridiculous on Vineyard. And I'll say, I live on that, and we had school buses, and Royal Oaks is quite limited in terms of parking.
Well, we
Royal
have
Oaks-
secured 2 parking lots, the Mormon Church and the Santa Teresita parking lot. Both of them have agreed to let us use those parking lots and shuttle people over to the beginning of the race. So there will be no congestion with people who are doing the race to actually park here. We will use those smaller parking lots for volunteers.
So the beginning of the race, though, is at Vineyard and Royal Oaks.
Beginning and end.
Right, because they loop, right? I saw the.
Right, we go down
Okay.
and come back.
And then the other one was insurance.
We've already got the
Kid-
insurance.
And would there be an option to add the city on that?
It's already been done.
So it's on
You're
there.
already an additional insured, and I've submitted the document.
So you've gone far along without.
I've done everything I could up until this point because we didn't have any time to waste. I mean, it has to be done. So I'm really hanging myself out there to dry because I have faith in all of us working together to make this happen and make it a really good event for the city that can help be a good fundraiser for the kids and a good, healthy fundraiser for a good event for people to take part in, where we can actually have a 5K of our own and have fun and have it grow into something big. So the only thing missing is us covering some of these expenses. We have everything done. The only thing that is not done right now is getting people registered, which we are working hard on, going to race clubs, and we're putting postcards in the 4,200 goodie bags that are going to be at Santa Anita Derby Day 5K. I mean, we are out there trying to get competitive runners just as much as the community people. So we're working hard, and we have been for a long time.
Oh, I don't doubt that. Last question is really for Mr. Enriquez. Is the last 2 years we've had a virtual 5K, correct? And years ago, many more years ago, we actually had elite runners running a 5K indoor. You weren't even the public safety guy. And, but then there were cash prizes. So those kind of elite runners from local universities and colleges would come to compete. So I just wanted to make sure that what the city is already offering currently is just varied enough from what you are proposing, or KidFit, right?
Well, I'm sorry, I don't understand. What were you saying?
Because you're proposing a 5K.
Right.
And I know the city has provided a 5K.
Oh, the virtual
The
one?
virtual one
Yeah,
because
this
of
is
the pandemic.
different. We don't have a virtual component to this.
No, yes, and because things are kind of clearing up and whatnot, that's the other side of it. So I'm just curious if there was, prior to this presentation, if there was a discussion. That's why I said,
right.
did it go to Parks and Rec, just to
I
see
see.
if they were even looking for a 5K?
That's a great question. The last 2 years, you are correct. We did offer a virtual 5K. And just with the pandemic, it was a safe option for our youth, our families, and our neighbors here within the region. Based off of the 2 years attendance and participation rate, we aren't planning on moving forward. I will say that, on the plus side of offering some kind of virtual 5K activity, while we had bibs, we had medals, folks could time themselves, we gave away prizes. It was a minimal fee, I think a little less than what I've seen on the price sheet that Michelle has provided. Where I was going with this is basically, there's not necessarily the demand there. And in terms of, having the 5K, we just didn't see that kind of turnout on our end. So it's not something that at this point staff is recommending to include as a special event in our upcoming budget year. But nonetheless, something that, she's right. There's a number of neighboring cities that do offer something like this. So, yeah.
Go ahead. Other questions?
I'm sorry, just one more response to one of the questions that Mayor Pro Tem had. I know Ms. Silent said she submitted the insurance to staff, has not had an opportunity to review that yet. So whether it meets all of our standards, we can't say at this point. We just haven't had a chance to review it.
Okay, Sam?
Thank you, Mayor. Dr. Jordan, and this is prior to your time, and Brian, can you remind me how it was with Santa Teresita's in regards to the breakdowns? How much did they pay, and how much did we pay? I don't really.
The
recall
recommendation is exactly the same as Santa Teresita as far as
Got it.
sponsorship and
Got it.
amount that
I
has
see.
been waived.
Okay. And Ms. Silence, you're seeking for the city to go ahead and pony up the rest of it, you're saying?
Or if you can turn us to sponsors that'll cover that, we would be grateful, because if the county is willing to help sponsor the event, I mean, if we all help, I think we can really make it a good event.
So just to be.
And
I'm just-
actually, I'm not to interrupt you, but Brian, did the sisters actually pay that much money for, I mean, I know per hour they had fewer hours, but I remember them telling me the last year of the event that they almost couldn't do it anymore because the costs were too high.
And it is, and the costs have gone up. I've talked about that. But yeah, so exactly what we are requesting for this event is exactly what I would staff for Santa Teresita. Actually, even a little less, because we used to close Buena Vista through traffic. So that was an additional closure. But the length of the hours has increased, so that increases the amount.
I'm just thinking, right? I mean, we want to be fair for all the people in our city, and this is this is not Hayden, obviously. This is KidFit, and KidFit, you guys are initiating this, and your name is going to be on this. Right? So I understand you are putting a lot of sweat equity into this, but if you want to go in and make this happen.
Well, more than half of the proceeds are going to the high school and the kids in the town. And, you know, KidFit is a nonprofit organization that has served the county, has served the cities, the counties, the states, internationally. We're not asking for any special favors. I mean, fireworks were here for 50 years. They sold their products. We were allowed them to take the money back and take it back to their company, and nobody had a problem with that because the profits from the fireworks were being sold here to the kids in the community, and they were making money. I don't.
Have you
see
thought
this-
about going to TNT for a sponsorship, Michelle?
No, but you can. You have more clout. But
So-
anyway, I'm making that point because I mean, we're giving more than half of this to the high school, and we want them to have it.
So if, you know, I do business, so I'm just thinking of what if we recoup the cost from the city side, and then the rest of it, you go ahead and donate to.
That's
to the high
perfectly
school.
fine. I'm just saying that won't happen this first year. We'll probably be in the red if that happens, because I would love to have, if we have enough sponsors to cover that 8,000, great. And still make a profit, no matter how small, I'd be happy with that.
So 8,000, let's just say you find 8 sponsors, that's 1,000 each.
Or a couple at 2 or 3. We have Foothill Credit Union, I guess they're the company of the night because they're already agreed to sponsor us. We've got a couple of people on board right now. We have somebody in the community who's been there every single day for the last 2 months, going around trying to get sponsorships. So we are doing our best. We just need some help with getting some people that can provide the money to cover this, because that's the only thing missing.
So Michelle, if we can talk offline, maybe we can help you to go ahead and get some
Okay.
sponsorships, and maybe I'll pledge 1,000.
Sure.
And you got to find another 1,000, right? Let's do that instead of, you know,
Okay,
asking. I just want to be fair for it.
That's fine, that's fine, wherever it comes from, as long as it can happen. It's fine with me.
Okay, Jody?
I just wondered, have you approached YMCA or Boys and Girls Club of America for partnerships for
Yes.
this? And and the school district. I mean, these are the places, when I think of something like this, I think of sustainability and being able to do it every year for the kids. And so those
Well-
are places where the kids exist,
Yes.
more so than in this forum. And so I wonder what, those partnerships have come out to be. And
Well, we did approach the Boys and Girls Club before we ever came to Duarte. And the reason we didn't do it with them is because the person in charge there said, I want to know how much money we're going to make. And I said, I can't promise you. I don't know how much money we're going to make. And if he wasn't guaranteed they were going to make a certain amount of money, he did not want to do it. And so that's going to be the problem with getting something like this off the ground, because it's not over time, it's getting it started. Because it's such a hurdle to get it started and get those expenses and get the sponsors on board. Because after the first year, when you've got sponsors on board, they're probably going to sponsor you again. If it was a decent event, people had fun, and it raised money for a good cause, they're probably going to sponsor you again. But we don't have that yet. So it's this hurdle we have to get over to make it get started, to jumpstart it. And that's really why I'm here, because I need your help to get this jump started. And then I know it will grow. I know it will be successful. And I know the kids are really going to like it, because I've been to the high school talking to them. I've talked to the scouts. I've talked to them. They want to do it.
And what did the district say in YMCA?
YMCA doesn't have the money. I mean, they just had to redo their entire thing, and it spent hundreds of thousands of dollars just to reopen. So they do not have any money at all. And what was the other place you mentioned?
The school district.
The school district, I did not ask the school district because I thought they would be too strapped for money.
Okay.
But I thought if we worked with the schools in general, with the high school groups, like the Key Club and all the different clubs that are in the schools, that those kids would be motivated, and they are, so.
I sort of agree with Sam and Ben about the private sponsorships and how we can help with that. I'm a little bit concerned if staff's recommendation is different than, if we do something different than staff's recommendation. And then the liability was another thing to the city, which impacts everyone if something happens.
Right.
But I feel like, and then when Manuel was saying about the low demand for a 5K, all of the information together makes me feel like I want to help you get this going, maybe more so on a personal level even. And so I wanted to ask some of these questions just because that piece of it it's important. I think it's an important program, but I just wanted to tell you some of the thoughts that I had. So
Sure.
Thank you for answering my questions.
Sure.
Okay, other questions up here? I've got a bunch of them, so I will.
Give or take,
Go
Ms.
ahead.
Silence, at the moment, do you know how many registered runners you have?
We have just started registering, so there are probably not many.
Okay, thank you.
But we're going to the Runners Club tomorrow night, and we're working it.
Thank you.
Okay, then let me start at the beginning. Okay, the first thing, and we talked about this, I think initially. I've done a number of 5Ks. We've done them recently too, and I know it almost sounds like you're kind of trying to be all things to all people with regard to the level of runners, because that is by having the elite runners down to the kids that are barely walking. It seems to me that's why you're saying you need to have it open for 7 hours.
Exactly.
And again, I've been to the Ventura one recently, and I went to the Arcadia one. Nobody has anything that is that long. It would seem to me that if you could condense it,
Well, but then there's no room to grow because of that trail.
But I don't think I'd worry about room to grow right now when we haven't even had one yet. And I mean, I'm just giving you, I always give you my opinion. You know that, Michelle. So that's why I'm thinking if you can go ahead, and typically the ones that I go to, they maybe have like and they're typically 5 and 10K and even half marathons. They start the people out at 7:30 and then somebody at 8, and then maybe they have the really slow people like me that will go at 9. But typically everybody will be off the course by around 11 o'clock. So if you can cut this thing down by 3 hours, I would think and I don't even know at this point if you can.
We can't. We've got all the promotional materials. We spent $1,500 on them.
Yeah,
It's
and
already detailed out. It's like, you gotta have faith that we structured it in the best way we possibly could and go with it. And if we need to make adjustments, and if that's not good, we can change it the next year. But we really feel we have put together the very best plan for a 5K that will appeal to everyone, because we do want to promote fitness for everyone, not just good runners, not just, average runners, little kids, everybody. We want it to be for everybody.
Can I chime in really
Go
quick? And I actually concur with the mayor. I get it. I know you want to do great things. We all do, right? But we got to go one step at a time. And this is a new project that you are taking and you're asking the city to go ahead and take. And the scope you're asking right now, it's like this. But can we perhaps the first year really focus on one group to make it successful first, and then you can scale it rather than I'm already maxed out. You know what I'm saying? Because if we ask for 7 hours and you got to work so hard to go ahead and get all these at capacity, it's going to be much more effort. Why don't we go ahead and work on one, get the synergy, get a critical mass, and then we go ahead and start scaling?
Well, if we had talked about this 6 months ago, we could have done that. But the point is that we've got advertisement out everywhere. We've got brochures. We've got everything with the schedule on there. So the thousands of...
It seems like, I'm sorry, Michelle, but it seems like, we talked about this in person, right?
Yes.
But we're talking about this right now. I just feel like we're not in sync, and this is something that you are taking the initiative on, but now you're telling the city you must conform without being communicating with the stakeholders. That kind of makes sense?
I see your point. I also see that the $2,000 we might save on the security, we're going to spend more money on $2,000 worth of promotional material, so it's a wash at this point.
I don't know what you're going to go ahead and spend. Again, this is Kid Fit, right? This is not City of Duarte's. Because I don't know, and I'm not seeing what you're allocating, what you're spending on whatever. So I cannot understand what you're going through. But I'm just saying, from my perspective here, what we did for Hayden, we should do the same for you. And if there's any kind of, additionals you're looking for, I'm sure, a lot of my colleagues will be able to help you. And we're just trying to go ahead and compromise with you. I think it's going to be more effective if we focus on one group rather than the whole. It's like if I take 15 projects, I'm going to go, or take 15 classes, I'm going to get all Fs, right? If I just take one class and really focus on it, I'm going to get A+. So I'm just seeking for your buy-ins and see how, if we can work on a little bit more focus, get that going, get that critical mass, get people saying how great this is, and then we'll go ahead and scale up.
I hear what you're saying. I just don't agree with it. I'm sorry.
Well, it's kind of too late in the game to agree with it too.
Yeah, it's kind of, something like this takes almost a year to organize. So it's really hard to be talking about these kinds of things like 2 months before the event. So I understand what you're saying. And if we were to have been able to have that conversation a long time ago, then I probably would have agreed with you. But after consulting with the people that we did consult with, they seemed to think that it was an okay plan to do it this way. People who run races, who are actually in charge of multiple 5Ks.
So my question is, how many runners right now?
We just started promoting it. I don't even think we have runners right now.
Okay, so I want to be more agile in this matter rather than, we're fixated, it's going to be 7 hours. I think we need to go ahead and do a little bit more analysis, how much demand we have, and then just go ahead and concatenate in a way that it's going to be beneficial for you, and then we can go ahead and help you out too, right? If you're going to say, let's go get sponsors, we could try to go ahead and get sponsors for you. And I told you already, I'm committed to you. If you're able to go ahead and get another 1,000, so what is that? That's you know, that's more than 30%.
Well, the cost from the city with the security and all the other fees is about, I have a list right here. It's about 8857.50 of what the city is going to want from us, which we don't have, okay, honestly. So we're going to try our hardest to get that from other people, because we want to kick this off and we want to get it off the ground. So any help we get, we're going to take. And if it's from Catherine Barter's office, a few thousand here and a few thousand there, you know, that's what we're going to do. Because if we can get the sponsors to cover these costs, the registration fees will be what the kids, and you know, what's going to be left for everybody to share. So we're not really, we're using the name KidFit in this, but we're really billing it as it's for kids. It's for kids of all ages. It's for the high school especially. So they need a fundraiser. They haven't had one, a good one, for a long time. And so any help that we can get, you know, I will give you the sponsorship packages. And if we can find a way, I mean, we've already passed out thousands of these things that have the time slots on them. So I don't really know how to go back and change that stuff. That should have probably been done a long time ago. So the best I can suggest is that it gets amended after the first year and
I just feel like it's like gosh, it sounds like my work. It's like the cart before the horse. You know?
Well, but that's kind of the way it is when you're asking for sponsorship, because you can't ask for sponsorship unless you've got the permit and all this stuff.
You're trying to go ahead and get our buy-ins when you have already done so many other steps. So I would do whatever I can to go ahead and help you out, but you know, let's be a little bit more accommodating for all of us, right? And I know how you work, and you know, I'm just trying to go ahead and help everyone out.
Okay. Michelle, I'm also looking at your attachment 3, Royal Oaks Park, the site plan. So the youth booths and the sponsor and the stage and all that, that's all stuff that you are covering right now yourself?
Right. We're trying to see if the high school groups want to sell additional things there, have their own booths. We don't really have anything that's going to have food that we've come up with so far. If we did, we would have, you know, public health permits for that. But we've asked the museum, do they want to sell books from, you know, on Duarte history and stuff like that. So those are things we're trying to, and any of the groups, I've talked to the DCCC several times, any of them that want to have a booth to promote their nonprofit and community, we want them there too.
By having food booths and that sort of thing, I know that has been, I don't want to say a problem at the city picnic, but they've really ramped it up. So
we don't have anybody like that yet. We don't have any food booths.
Any food booths? Okay, so that just then is a whole different dynamic if we get into that. Okay, so porta potties, parking lot, et cetera. Okay. And what is Bradbury doing anything on this? I know you've got a letter in there. Are they doing anything on this?
They said they'd help promote the event. They were really excited about it. Monrovia, same kind of thing.
And how are they promoting it?
They want to announce it at their meetings, and they didn't really get specific. They just said, let us know when it gets closer so we can promote it for you.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. And you've already addressed, what is USATF Triathlon Fund?
US Track and Field.
Track and Field.
And that's
okay.
where the insurance comes from. It's a legitimate source for insurance. They sanctioning a race means that they cover the insurance for all the participants and volunteers. And as an additional insured, the city is an additional insured, as well as would it be anybody else that wanted to, you know, that needed it.
Okay, I know two things with liability. I called the Joint Powers Insurance Authority today they said, obviously, if our name is on anything, it looks like we're sponsoring it, and gee, guess what? We're the deep pockets. It's not going to be USATF that is going to get hit with this. So is this something, and I'll ask the city manager this, is this something we need, and even Ty, a city, a special events permit to go ahead and make sure that we are adequately covered on something like this? And I might add, I think, because see, our name is all over this right now. And when your name is all over something, if we had just like maybe written you a check for 5,000 without our name being on it, you understand what I'm talking about. Yeah. So I'm just trying to kind of figure some things out here. Ty?
So there are a few legal questions to be addressed in this situation. First of all is regarding the insurance. As our city manager mentioned, we have not reviewed any type of additional insurance submittals, and so it is not clear to us whether that would be sufficient. Usually the city, as far as I'm aware, and assistant city manager can clarify, it's $1 million or $2 million because you can have catastrophic injuries, someone can get hit by a vehicle, anything can happen. On top of that, when you are sponsoring, there is going to be, they're going to sue whoever that they know is involved in the process, and that would include likely the city as well, KidWorks, and anyone else. Further, typically with something like this, you would want an indemnification clause that ensures that the party or the organization that is sponsoring the event or organizing the event fully indemnifies the city to ensure that they cover all of your attorney's fees and costs for any issues related to the event. That would be my recommendation, and that is a standard clause in our contracts. And finally, in speaking about our logo being all over everything, unfortunately, there was an unsanctioned and unapproved flyer that utilizes and illegally appropriates the Duarte logo in sponsoring this event with some other cities. I'm not sure if they are also aware of this. And so I would recommend that the organizer cease and desist without, if this is not something that the city council has already approved.
Okay, that was only sent to some board members.
Okay, we'll take just a tiny break here, and I will have someone from the public who wants to speak. Lino Paris, if you'd like to kind of step up and give us your 3 minutes.
Before that, really quick, Brian, do you recall, I think it was like 4 years ago, at the Hayden 5K or something like that, early in the morning, the person was hit. There was an auto versus pedestrian.
I do recall, and that was not related to the event itself.
Okay.
So that happened before the event ever started on Huntington.
That was what?
That, I don't know what the mic's not working. That happened on Huntington before the event even started.
Oh, Huntington,
Yeah.
okay. It wasn't Royal Oaks?
No.
Okay, Lino.
Madam Mayor, that was the shortest 5 minutes presentation and
And we keep
deliberation.
asking questions.
So, anyway, I appreciate the passion and enthusiasm of Michelle. She has been a very good member of the community. And I was ready to write a check, from my company to help. But I have some few questions. Is this a 105c3? No,
501c3.
that was intentional.
Oh.
You didn't get it. Is this a 501c3 organization, or is it a for-profit thing that is sponsoring and promoting youth situation? I told you earlier, I'm using 105 freeway to go to the airport. Anyway, I think a compromise here, okay, because time of the essence, instead of Michelle insisting what she thinks should be done and what you think should be done. There should be a compromise on this because in a way, I think, again, with passion and enthusiasm of Michelle, she started doing all things without checking up everything. And that's a no-no. There's a liability insurance, blah, blah, blah. I myself, when I negotiated, it took me 2 years. Insurance, $2 million to $5 million, and so on and so on. So again, in this one, I think my personal input on this one is to support the cause of Michelle and company, but compromise, not necessarily bowing to what Michelle wants because of all the constraint about traffic, etc., blah, 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 and so on. So it's the start. And then maybe in the future, it will be more well-planned, organized, advertised, sufficient time to advertise, and so on. Because Michelle, as you know, that's how government works. Thank you.
Okay, Sam?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm just looking at these and this flyer. I mean, it's got city council, city versus cities. I think we have to run through legal with this matter. Yeah. I understand, but it still went out. I do wish that we need, if I would have done that at my work, I would have been reprimanded by my legal. So and you know this, and I think just for clarifications, is this under a 501c3?
Yes.
Okay, and this is not for profit.
No, in fact, what she said earlier about being under a division of.
Can you?
What was mentioned earlier, the KidFit organization is not any way associated with the for-profit. It is completely a 501c3 and has been from the beginning. So it's not associated. She's talking about another business when she came up here.
So we find sponsors, you'll be able to provide the tax ID number
I have it
for
on.
the sponsors.
Yes, it's on our documents.
And trust me, Michelle knows tax ID numbers.
Yeah, and we checked the nonprofit status to make sure it was up to date with all of the necessary state and federal reporting requirements, and it is. It is, all the permits are there.
Okay. Questions or comments?
Madam Mayor, I just wanted to reiterate
Yes.
that even though the flyer was only sent to quote board members or council members, that was not an approved use by the city, and it should not be appropriated in such a way. Thank you.
Okay. So what's your pleasure, council? Unless you have more that you would like to talk about.
I just want to confirm, because I remember reading it, the staff recommendation was to basically offer what we would do, what we did with Hayden 5K, because that set the precedence. I would motion to approve that and see where this goes.
And I would second that, but I would like to add something, as I had stated earlier, maybe we should go sidebar and try to find some of your sponsorships, but if in agreement that we can compromise a little bit, because I think the scope of this work is way too huge. And I understand you had done this, already. You have been telling people about it for a long time, but it's time for a change order if you want to go ahead and make it effective. I'm just recommending. I mean, I would love to go ahead and help you. I'm committed. 1,000 to you if you're able to go ahead and find another 1,000. I'm sure a lot of my colleagues are able to go ahead and do that too. But let's do something that's going to be a win-win for all of us, because this is a city of health, and make it an A+ rather than barely passing. That's my suggestion. Thank you.
So I think that would be more of a private conversation, one-on-one, but be very clear, my motion was to accept staff's recommendation to match what we were doing for the Hayden 5K in the years past. So,
Okay, so did somebody make a motion?
oh, I just did.
And I second.
Yeah.
Okay, and I guess my feeling on this is that I'd like to do better than that. I think Michelle is rock solid, and like I said, I believe in her. I don't believe you're going to get a ton of people this year. That's just my gut feeling, is you're not going to, and I think we need to do, I think we've got a lot of in-kind stuff that we're trying to do, and when I remember Tim Lowry, when he showed up here one year and he said, hey, let's do a parade. And all of a sudden we had a parade. Now, it was kind of a pain in the neck for the first few years because it was just a lot of work, but people got good at it. And so that's, I'm looking at trying to do, if it's not all of it, it would be trying to do more. So I don't know, how the rest of my colleagues are feeling, but like I said, I believe that I've seen Michelle pull off miracles. You too are all, but I know when someone is willing to put in the time and effort, and I'd like to try to do more. Obviously, we're all signing up for it. The entire Finley family will be there. That was our dinner discussion last night. So we'll all be there. And I want to do as much as we can to help out with it without having this appear to be a gift of public funds. So that's kind of where I am on this. And I don't know, do we table this and I know you have to find out some stuff, but if we can kind of talk and massage it, that would be my suggestion. Like I said, I don't know whether that works at all.
Well, my biggest thing is that I just didn't want the permit to not go through because we don't have $8,000 to give them tomorrow. It seemed like the permit was contingent upon us paying the fees up front. And I wanted time to be able for us to work together to figure out how to get those.
What's the deadline for the permits?
The deadline, the permit has been submitted. It's just, it's not going to be granted because they want those fees.
In the past, any fees absent the public safety component by Hayden 5K were paid up front. We billed Hayden 5K after the fact for the event. I don't know if this is a larger amount, if that's what's palatable to the city, if you wanted to approve the permit going forward so KidFit could make its best effort to make the event happen. And if they can't come up with sponsorship to cover or satisfactorily the rest of the remaining amount, which is really probably about 8,000 and a little bit of change, then the event doesn't happen. But I know that we didn't bill upfront entirely for the event when Hayden 5K occurred.
So,
Go ahead, Vince.
Mayor, to go on your comment about doing more, this probably should run through the Parks and Recs Commission to see if they support doing more.
Look at Manuel there.
I'm sorry, man. I think that's just like.
I don't think they have much time, right?
Yeah, I don't even know when Parks and Rec Commission meets.
Next Monday.
Okay.
Next Monday?
Okay.
Is that okay? I apologize.
Well, good idea, Vin. I like it. But at least it would be, wait a minute, I see you have your finger up. Yes? Go ahead.
Are you, just for my clarification, are you seeking feedback from the commission whether or not the city should sponsor this event at this level, or you're just?
Or any type of,
Yeah,
Yeah, just
what
be-
ideas do they have? You know, you've got, what, 7 people on that commission? And at least one from the school district that can maybe go ahead and weigh in on that. You know, Mayor's Youth Council, have you been to the Mayor's Youth Council yet, Michelle? Okay, that's a really good source. Those kids are, they're good workers, and they have a lot of great connections. They just had it this past Monday. So the next time you could really do it would be first part of April. So that would still be a good resource to get out and get some things done. And what about the principal at the high school? Have you spoken with him yet?
No.
Okay, he's again, getting kind of the upper people to help buy in. That certainly keeps you from having to maybe go individually to each one of the clubs. I think that's what,
I have reached out to Dr. Emerson several times, but I've never been able to get him.
that's, you know, sometimes you can go too high. But the principal there is a real nice guy. And honestly,
What's his
I,
name? Oh,
Louis Haro.
yes, he does know about it.
Okay, so he knows about it. Another really good event, I know it's de post facto, but another really good event to go to would have been Tony's field day at the athletic,
Sports complex.
The groundbreaking of the, that would have, because there were so many athletes there, with Tony kind of leading the charge. But that, again, we can help you in a lot of ways that are not monetary because of our connections all over the city and frankly, the San Gabriel Valley. So I'm, again, kind of de post facto, but we can kind of help you with some things here. So Zeidel, I think I saw you raising your hand.
That's great, you know.
I just want to say I appreciate your passion with regard to this. I feel that there was a motion and a second with regard to at the very least tonight, approving staff's recommendation. So you can check off a $325 permit fee. And I can tell that some of my colleagues are willing to assist. And I'm sure there's many other community members and corporations and so forth within the city and outside the city that would be willing to help to cover the cost. I will say that should it be that particular route, a way to inform the neighbors, basically.
We have a letter for them already.
Okay.
That will go out when it's time, informing them of, you know.
All the, street closures and time frame and all that goodness. Okay, wonderful. So I don't know if it.
Okay,
needs to
so
be a roll call.
Michelle, is this something that we can, I don't want to say, but maybe can we table it? Brian, how can we make this thing work?
Well, you're a magician.
Yeah, we got a motion and a second. Just go ahead.
Well, in listening to Michelle and Kid Fit's request is that they're granted the permit so they can move forward
Okay.
seeking sponsorship to hold the event. In the event they can't come up with the money, she can come back and let us know, hey, it's a no-go. And then she's not out any money other than the expenses for all the advertising and everything that she had. And there's no huge expense on the public safety side because the event didn't happen. So I don't know if that's palatable to city council.
Okay, yeah, now, Michelle, okay, are you okay with that for right now? And
Yeah, for right
again,
now,
go to the
yes.
Parks and Rec Commission next week. I hear Manuel like serves dessert there or something, so. So anyway, yeah.
Madam Mayor, just for clarification, as Mayor Pro Tem did mention, there is a motion and a second on the
Right, and we haven't
floor.
voted on it yet.
Right, and just for additional clarification, if you do vote on the approval based on that motion, that would include use of the city's logo, because this is the typical sponsorship package, use of the city's logo, marketing materials, the electronic sign, and promotion on the city's social media and other web pages, as evidenced by the presentation by Ms. Ayala. Further, I think you were getting into a question what it would look like. It would just be a sub-motion. as to approving the amount for the permit, but delaying the invoice. Finally, if you do want to have the Parks and Rec Commission take a look at this, the motion should also include direction to staff to place it on the Parks and Rec agenda because it is not there yet. And so if she does come to the Parks and Rec Commission, they would not be able to discuss it.
Okay. Sam?
I got a question, City Attorney. So should we, as we were talking about this earlier, mitigating the risks for the city, do we need to perhaps have any kind of indemnifications in place before we proceed this, just to, because we are going to, if we're co-branding, we are subject to any kind of whatever exposures.
So the motion on the floor does not include that additional language. Also, the motion on the floor does not include further review of the new insurance submittals to ensure.
I would like to amend that and add that into it. I think that's very, very significant for us.
But on top of that, as I mentioned, typically with any type of co-sponsorship or anything like that, I would recommend strong indemnification language to ensure that the city is protected in the event something goes awry.
And what kind of insurance that they will provide too, right?
Correct. And our risk management team would be able to provide that information.
Thank you.
Okay. Everybody real clear on kind of what we're thinking about here? Tony, we love you. Okay. Okay, then, Michelle, you're okay? You got
okay
it?
for now. I mean, we keep trudging along, you know.
All right, I know.
I'm good.
I know. All right, so do we have anyone that, okay, and you're okay with putting it on your agenda next Monday with dessert? Got it. Okay, so I guess then, you want something, Ty?
Well, the motion has not been voted on.
No, I recognize that.
Yeah.
But, so, okay, are we okay with putting that on there on the Parks and Rec agenda? Because that would be
Yes.
part of the motion.
Oh, yeah, you're, as the original maker of the motion, you
If-
moved to approve staff's
The
recommendation
staff
as
rec-
is.
Right, as is, and then I guess adding the opportunity for them to be visiting the Parks and Recreation Commission and making sure it gets on the agenda.
And then in indemnification part of it with insurance.
That is up to the maker of the motion.
With insurance, indemnification. I thought they submitted and that would be a process that would have to happen anyway, so I wasn't sure that we needed to necessarily motion that.
Yeah.
I think that's the part that I was kind of like,
Well, that's where we, yeah, this is, unfortunately, this is where we find ourselves, is that we're, I think Councilmember Kang put it best, we're kind of down the road.
Cart before the horse.
But staff really hasn't had a chance to vet this properly.
Right.
That's just where we are. And, I mean, there's other matters that were raised this evening. It doesn't sound as if there's much of a formal agreement between KidFit
and the city.
and the school district
Oh, that's
about the sharing of the proceeds.
So with my
So-
motion, not to overcomplicate it, is why I wanted to go with staff recommendation. And then, what was the other part that you added? Oh, Parks and Recreation Commission, and leave it at that, and then have the conversation with our staff.
Well, to be clear, the typical co-sponsorship package does not include that clear indemnification language. So that I'm recommending that as the, legal counsel tonight to ensure with this type of event that the city is protected. On top of that, the insurance language, there are different insurance requirements and we would need to confirm that it's correct. But if we do approve the sponsorship package as it is tonight, it would already be approving the social media post, the use of the logos, promotion, and the permit. So maybe because there's still a lot of
So
discussion.
Let me withdraw my motion, and I'll make a motion that it goes to Parks and Recreation, and then we come back on the 22nd to have a conversation.
You just took the words right out of my mouth.
There you go. I had to read between the lines. So do I have a second for that?
I'll second that. It seems like we need to do a way more due diligence on this. And I'm just
And
thinking.
in reality, Manuel and I met with Michelle 3 months ago, 4 months ago. So I mean,
Right
we,
after Halloween.
right, so we have met with her, but I just haven't met with her since then. So, anyway, that, so we do have a motion now. Is everybody clear on it? And stay in touch. I see you on the Hill every day. So, just flag down my
Let me get
car.
the sponsorship packages so that the council can have those that you requested.
You can hand it to
To them? Okay. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, thank you, and let's go ahead. Do we have any objections to this? We certainly talked this to death. So if there are no objections, then it will be a unanimous vote. Okay. Now we are on to continuation of oral communications. Is there anyone that did not speak before that would like to go ahead and speak now? Okay, then we will go on to items from the City Council, Successor Agency, Housing Authority, Financing Authority members, and City Manager, Executive Director. Let's just start right down there. Brian, anything? Craig? Nothing. Thank you. Other than you're like on Margaret, okay? I knew that was coming, Manuel. And then we have Kristen. Anything from you, Kristen? No. Okay, Dan?
Just one thing, Madam Mayor, I want to thank, special thanks this evening to our management aide, Ms. Joyce Ayala, for putting together a very difficult staff report, a very difficult presentation. And when she greeted you, I don't know if you noticed this, she said, Madam Mayor and members of Congress. So you all just got a huge promotion, and
Where's my check?
So she knew exactly what she was doing as she was trying to butter you out. So well done, Joyce.
But I just want to go ahead and make the point that we make maybe 0.0025% of what Congress does, okay?
Speak for yourself.
At least for City Council. Okay, and then Ty?
I just want to say thank you for approving the contract. I'm glad to be here in perpetuity as your new city attorney. So thank you so much. And I'm very honored and really proud to be able to serve and staff you at these meetings. Thank you.
Okay, and I think it ought to be noted too, Ty, that if we change, if you're not here, if you go to another city, then that's when we can review the contract again.
Yes, the contract is public. It does require that if I ever choose to leave for TAN or the city, I would have to give all of you at least 30 days notice. And yes, there's an annual review provision, and definitely you are able to take up the contract at any time.
Okay, great. Thank you, Ty. It's a pleasure to have you with us. Okay, we'll start down there. Zeidel?
I think Southern California Edison Federal Credit Union has been mentioned a couple times. I actually had a meeting with their government and legislative person, Pasquale, who has been promoted. We haven't seen each other for probably about 5 years. And he's looking for opportunities again to work with students, whether it's at the teen center, the high school. They have this Mad Money program, which has been done at the high school. And so I just want to let you know that I had a lunch meeting with him to help reconnect him back to our community. And they are definitely willing to participate and be a partner to the city. So I really thank him for taking the time to reach out. And I was glad to be able to have a meeting with him. The blue bike, I always call them Mr. Lloyd. Yeah, Lloyd Gibbons. It looks really cool. The trees still overhang. It now doesn't cover the sign, but it still overhangs long enough. I don't know what type of tree that is, but it just kind of takes away from that bicycle. And do you know when the yellow tape will be removed from it? Because it does also, I think the bike thingamajiggy is also within the yellow tape. The bike thing. I just said the bike thingamajiggy. He knows what I'm talking about. Do you know when?
I'll get with Gerard, but since they have receded and the
Yeah.
irrigation work, we just want to make sure everything's settled.
It's dry and all that goodness. Okay.
So I'll
Well,
get back to you.
it looks great and I'm glad. So would we have something that kind of just makes an announcement, or are you just going to take a picture and post it? Or, will the mayor get to pretend to be on the bicycle?
We need something for his family.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think-
they would like to have kind of, how do I say, closure? So if we could go ahead and, it can be in conjunction with the Kid Fit Run. It can be whatever you want. Yeah, I know. Don't step there.
Yeah.
But just something that we could go ahead and invite the family to. I think that would be really important.
We'll reach out to the family and work with them. I can
Okay.
tell you that we are in the process of creating a press release. And so
Okay.
We'll be sharing that on all of our city platforms. But we'll reach out to the family and see what we can come up with.
And-
Okay,
And I
perfect.
think extending it to the students of our district to ride bicycles down the bike trail and just, be a background, a really cool background for the family to see all these kids on bicycles, because it really honors his memory that way. But great job.
Okay, Vin.
I have nothing tonight. Thank you all. Have a good
Okay,
night.
Jody?
Thank everyone. I want to thank Brian, as usual, because that entire wall of graffiti in Irwindale that was like a mile long has now been covered. So I appreciate you getting out there and painting it yourself, and also calling Jeff Tyler in Irwindale. So I emailed him, he emailed me back, along with Councilmember Ortiz. And so thank you so much for that. That really, it was not good. And so I appreciate how quickly it was done too. Craig, potholes overnight filled. Awesome. The big bump at Royal Oaks, done. I know Amanda had stuff to do with that too, but. Manuel, Kristen, as usual, we love you. Ty, Victoria, Joyce, Annette. Deputies and sergeant. I did want to say that I appreciate everyone up here too. I liked what Mr. Cruz said about democracy in action. It makes me feel proud to be part of that process. And so that's very meaningful to me. And I also want to let everyone know that Rotary is sponsoring a cleanup on Saturday in memory of Councilmember Urias, and also introducing Councilmember Garcia. And so I hope the people in the community can come out and meet our wonderful new council member. I hope that the people here will join us as well. So thank everyone. It's really a pleasure to serve with all of you.
Okay, Caesar.
Thank you, Mayor. I would just like to add a name to tonight's adjournment. Cecilia Velasquez, a longtime Duarte resident on Brightside, passed away a few days ago. I know one of her granddaughters graduated DHS in '93, so I do want to send my condolences to the Velasquez, Martinez, and Rodriguez family. And definitely invite you all this Saturday at 8 a.m. at Beardsley Park. We'll be doing, like Councilmember Schultz said, a cleanup in memory of Councilmember Urias. Bring your gloves, your trash bags, and some water. And see you
We'll
there.
provide something, I think. All right.
We'll see you there. Have a good week,
Thank
everybody.
you. Okay, Sam.
Just really quick, any updates in regards to connecting with City of Monterey Park about their city app? Any progress with that?
None to report right now. Mr. Mayor, let us make that effort again. Okay, that was the city of Monterey Park.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Rombo, I think, yeah, other cities has it. It's just a easy app. Yeah, and when we're gonna go ahead and do the beautification workshop? I'm just curious. Are we gonna do that?
Yeah, we are gonna do that. I'm not sure if the ARPA workshop is morphed into the beautification workshop. That's okay. It will be a beautiful thing. And we will talk about beautification at that workshop. And that's coming up on, I'm sorry, on April 26th.
April 26th?
Yes, sir.
Is that going to give us enough time? I talked with Adam Knight, and, you know, the 26th, that's going to be before a council meeting for 2 hours, right?
4 to 6 p.m., yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
4 to 6. I have it down as 5.
Yes, I
Okay.
snuck in another hour, just anticipating your question.
Okay. All right, good,
All right.
thank you. Okay, Sam, are you,
Yeah, I'm just thinking, yeah, that's all I have. Thank you.
okay. Tony, and don't talk about Walmart. Or Bruno, for that fact.
I'd like to thank all my colleagues, and I won't say the retail store that I really appreciate staying in my district because I was told not to. But no, on a serious note, I appreciate all of my colleagues, and also Ty, welcome to the family, and I'm glad that we got to retain you. And good night.
Okay, thank you, Tony. Jody has one more thing to say.
Sorry, just actually two things. Craig, you had actually talked about the median work that was part of beautification that wasn't going to be part of ARPA. So that was one thing I wanted to ask about. But the second thing is, I'm sorry, Dr. Jordan, I forgot to mention how much we appreciate you as well. So I skipped right over you, so I apologize. But Craig, I didn't know if you had anything about that stretch between like Buena Vista and Highland. I thought there was going to be work done there that we had talked about prior.
We're currently in the process of working with a landscape architect to have that designed. And I think that might be part of the discussion at the ARPA workshop, possibly.
Okay, sorry, I thought it was separate.
But hopefully we'll have some pretty pictures by then. So we're working on it.
And Craig, did I see also that you're going to be, yes, and you talked about repaving the streets up there on Mel Canyon?
Yeah.
Can we maybe get a little bit of extra asphalt and just pave over Fasana's front yard? I hope he's watching.
Maybe like a speed bump at the entry to the driveway.
Yeah, all right, thank you.
We'll attempt to do something like that.
Yeah, I think we should. All right, and I have nothing this evening, so it's a wrap, guys. Everybody have a good evening.
Recording stopped.
Recording stop.